The material in this short PowerPoint video are out of Chapter 7 of the ACSM book. And these are some of my notes that can work with the notes that are straight out of the book that I've also posted straight out of the ACSM book that I've also posted from Chapter 7. And this chapter deals with and discusses exercise prescription. And I'm calling this the art and science of designing an exercise program. And through different classes, I'm sure you're aware of the 5 different components of fitness: body composition, cardiovascular fitness, muscular strength, muscular endurance, and flexibility. And this class, EXS 438, cardio, is obviously the cardiovascular fitness is important, and we've talked about body composition and using calories to lose weight. So those are the main components of the main fitness components for this class. So I'm calling this the art and science of an exercise prescription. And this exercise prescription should be systematic, and it should be individualized, and it should be for everyone. So it should be for me, or for college students, or for older adults, or younger adults, um, adults with maybe people with some cardiovascular disease, maybe Olympic athletes. They should be getting some kind of systematic, individualized exercise prescription. And this includes, and we've talked about this before, the acronym FIT. And now new ACSM guidelines have added VP. So you know FIT is frequency, intensity, time or duration, and type of exercise or mode. The VP, the P stands for progression, and the V is not in here in these notes, but the V stands for volume of exercise. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So FIT VP. And these 5 components apply when developing an exercise program for everyone, for all ages, all fitness levels. If they're disease population, if it's an athletic population, they should be getting a program that includes those variables. Obviously, they're going to be different, but they still should be included. And the science of an exercise prescription, that's actually relatively easy because it's based on objective measurements for that individual. So the optimal exercise prescription for an individual is determined by objective evaluation. What is their starting fitness level? What is their starting VO2 max? From an objective evaluation of a fitness test like the YMCA bike test or the Queens College step test. So we have a measurement of their beginning fitness fitness level or VO2 max. And so these different objective measurements that we do and that you're getting good at measuring are heart rates and blood pressures, a rating of perceived exertion. That's that scale from 6 to 20. That's an objective measurement of how they're feeling. And VO2 max for aerobic fitness levels, ECGs, their health status, their risk factor analysis, a list of medications, that risk factor profile. So these are all the science of designing that exercise prescription. You're starting off with these objective measures. And you'll get those objective measures by doing fitness testing, and we've done that, and you've practiced that, and you're getting good at that, and by that health status screening. So what are these individuals' risk factor profile? What is their background? That's the science. That's the objective measures of this person and where they're starting. And the art of an exercise prescription is actually more difficult and actually can be more fun and challenging. So what does this person want to do? What are their behavioral characteristics? When do they like to work out? Who do they like to work out with? Is it with a group? Is it by themselves? Do they like to listen to music? Do they want it quiet? What are their personal goals? Is this some, elite level athlete, or is it just someone trying to lose weight? What are their exercise preferences? You need to be creative, and this is the art. If you have, someone riding the bike every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they're going to, be bored silly of that. But if you have them ride the bike and they join a spin class or have some online class with a group, that could be more interesting and being creative. So the art of this exercise prescription can be fun and exciting and challenging, but it's fun. So what are the components of an exercise prescription? And I'm going to follow ACSM guidelines out of the book. And so that's where we'll start, and we can play around with, at least we have a starting point. And I'm copying these out of the ACSM book because I want you to know the book. So if you choose to, you can take one of the certification exams. So we'll follow this book. So the components of an exercise prescription: mode. So mode is the type of exercise. So this is aerobic exercise. So it should be large muscle groups. It should be rhythmic. It should emphasize that aerobic energy system. So relatively long-term exercise. Activities that are appropriate. Here's biking, and appropriate for the individual's interests, their abilities. What can they do? Their functional capacities. Maybe they don't have the fitness level to run. So maybe it means walking. So the mode of exercise, that's the type. The I is for intensity, and that's how hard, how difficult this exercise is going to be. So ACSM guidelines are to start off with moderate exercise intensity. And moderate is defined as 40 to less than 60% of a VO2 reserve or that heart rate reserve. Or a combination of moderate and vigorous for most adults. Remember, HRR is that heart rate reserve. And again, it depends on the individual, but low fit people, maybe sedentary people, clinical population, they can actually improve their fitness because they're starting really low. So they can improve their fitness starting at even a lower intensity for longer duration. And for high fit individuals, working out at 40% of their VO2 reserve is nothing. So they need to be working out at a higher exercise intensity to improve fitness or maintain fitness. So that's the I in that FIT acronym. That's I is for exercise intensity. And how long? So the time is duration. And ACSM guidelines recommends 30 to 60 minutes of continuous or intermittent. So it could be as short as 10 minutes of activity at that moderate exercise intensity. If it's vigorous, if you're combining vigorous of greater than 60% of that heart rate reserve, you could shorten it to 20 minutes of vigorous exercise intensity, or some kind of combination to achieve what your goals are and what the goals of the client are. And we know that if someone has a goal of losing weight and burning more calories, that if they want to be burning more calories, they may need to be doing longer duration. So weight management may need more duration, more time. So the F part of the FIT acronym is frequency, so how many times a week. ACSM recommends 3 to 5 times per week. And it may be nice if someone, sort of depending on their schedule, but they could be getting into a program or getting into working out every day of the work week, so Monday through Friday, and then do something over the weekends. They could be joining classes, and maybe those classes meet, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that. but ACSM recommends 3 to 5 times per week. If it's higher exercise intensity, 3 times per week is enough. And there's evidence out there that exercising just 3 times per week can maintain VO2 max. Again, if it's weight loss goals, they may need to be doing more exercise to be burning more calories. So then maybe at least 5 times per week. But if they can get it into their daily schedule and every morning they're waking up and meeting you in the gym or meeting you at the fitness center, they can get in the frequency of doing that exercise. So new components of an exercise prescription are volume. And think of volume as like a cube that has 3 dimensions. So volume is a product of frequency, intensity, and time. So you can think of it as a 3-dimensional product. And ACSM recommends 150 minutes per week of moderate exercise intensity. So that could be a volume. Or if we convert that into calories, so they recommend 1,000 kcals per week. A measurement that is on our phones and on our watches is steps per week. Maybe the steps that we've heard of very often is 10,000 steps per day. There's really no evidence that that number of steps is important. It's actually just one study that showed that is important. And ACSM recommends these number of steps per day. So that's V for volume. So the acronym is FIT-VP. The last P is for progression. And progression is increasing the work that this person is going to be doing. And you can think of weightlifting, right? If you're lifting weights, obviously you're going to be lifting more reps or you're going to be lifting a higher weight. So P for progression. And that's because the physiology is improving. And also because the person's perception of that exercise now is easier, right? So, running now at, whatever, if they've done some exercise, that 10-minute per mile pace is now very easy. So they need to progress. And adaptations occur when there's progression. So now that 10-minute per mile pace is actually too easy. So you need to progress and make it either a higher exercise intensity, or if they're running that 10-minute per mile pace for a longer amount of time or more times per week. So check heart rates, check a rating of perceived exertion. And this is you being creative on how to progress. But progression is very important, actually. So progression, and typically ACSM recommends that to increase duration first. And if you think about it, if you just add, 5 or 10 minutes to your cardio workout, that's not that big a deal. So try to increase duration first before frequency or intensity. Increasing, and especially starting off, especially during the initial phase of a program. So just add some more minutes to an initial phase of a program. And then you can gradually increase all the fit components. In terms of intensity, the progression of intensity, ACSM recommends 5% of heart rate reserve every 6th exercise session. So you can calculate that out. And if you're measuring heart rates, or if they have a heart rate monitor or even their watch, you can look and adjust the intensity of exercise so that heart rate will go up. So a couple things about an exercise prescription and the FIT-VP, so frequency, intensity, time, type, and now volume and progression. So these are the basic components of an exercise prescription, and I've followed ACSM guidelines.